Okay, the session is also recorded, just to let everybody know. I just got a notification. You might have as well. And okay, just got, it looks a bit weird. Does it look okay? Okay, perfect. Okay, some technical issues, so sorry about that, everyone. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the session about Community Flood Action Plans. My name is Tia, and I am the Senior Officer for the Community Flood Action Programme here at Cambridgeshire County Council, and I will be delivering today's session. For those of you who are not aware of the Community Flood Action Programme, is a one-year County Council funded programme to increase the country's resilience and ability to adapt to flooding. This will be achieved through improving access to flood risk management information, improving data quality, and providing guidance on asset management, and support for local groups to establish community flood action plans. And this is what we will be focusing on today. I will give some further information about the program at the end of the session. And just before we start, I was asked to put this slide up and mostly point out that this is a session for communities across Cambridgeshire. So I would like to, if you would like to raise any specific area issues, please do that outside of this session. At the end of the session, I have included my email and the Flood and Water team's email and the Community Flood Action Programme email. So if you have any questions, feel free to email any of these email addresses. Also, I would like to apologize if at any point this feels a bit rushed. I was struggling with side effects for the past couple of days, the booster side effects, and also this happened this morning. So again, sorry about that, and I will do my best. So before we start, there is a bit of an overview of the session. I followed the structure of the Community Flood Action Plan, and the session will be divided into actions before the flood, during the flood, and after the flood. The aim is to have like a brief discussion after each section, but it will all be subject to time because we only have 1 hour. And as I mentioned before, I will provide some additional information about the Community Flood Action Programme, and if there is enough time, we can do some Q&A. So here we go. This is the Environment Agency's Community Flood Plan. It is a 12-page document, publicly available and free to download from the government's website. This is how the top of the page on the first page of the document looks like. And here you can add information about its community and community action, flood action group, the address, a number, all these things. As I said before, the plan is divided in 3 sections. For actions before, after, and during the flood. So this is the first page, and here is the the first section for actions before the flood. There are 3 tables in the section. The first one is this one. So this is about flood warnings. It's fairly easy to sign up for flood warnings. You head up to the gov.uk website. It asks you your address, an email address, and a way to be contacted at any point, day or night. You can choose to get a call, a text, or an email. I'm sorry. You can also, if you can see in this slide, I've added up the link for receiving flood warnings, and also the flood line phone number, which is available to you for 24, the whole day, 24 hours. However, this only covers areas that are in risk of main river flooding. So if your community is at risk of surface water flooding or any other type, our suggestion would be to try and create your own flood warnings, maybe a WhatsApp group or via emails or something that can work with your community. Maybe utilize volunteers and flood wardens and all that. The next two tables are about identifying locations at risk in your community or area and include maps showing the direction of flooding. One of the best ways to do that is to utilize local knowledge. People who lived in the area for many years usually know a lot about flooding and flood events. And unfortunately, they probably have experienced a couple of events themselves. Other ways to do that is to go through Section 19 reports and flood data, which are all both publicly available. Our team is more than happy to assist you in finding your area's flood risk. So if you're unsure, please feel free to contact us. So this is one of the tables, and this is where you can add a map. So that was it. That was the first section of the of the community flood plan. So I would like to open this up for discussion for a bit. And what actions has your community or local flood action group has taken before flooding? If you'd like to give some pointers or share that with a group, that would be great. You can also ask me to unmute you because this platform is a bit complicated. So yeah, you can either ask your question in the chat or ask me to unmute you, and I will. Okay, so Richard, I will ask for audio from you, and if you accept, then you'll be good to go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Yeah, great. My question is, how do I find out what the current situation is in our area? So, for example, whether Environment Agency considers it's a flood risk and whether there's any plan from the county or the district council or anybody. I mean, the parish doesn't have one, but I just wondered how I can find out.
So do you want to find out whether your area is on flood risk? This is your question, just to make sure.
Yeah, probably the first step. Yeah, and also what plans the EA has or what plans anybody has.
So for the first question, you can sign up to like the Environment Agency and you can look that up online. So the Environment Agency has some interactive maps, and you can go online, put your postcode or the name of the your village or your area. I think it works best with a postcode, and you can see whether your property or the area is under flood risk and what type of flooding they might be affected from. So regarding the second part of your question, I'm not entirely sure how to do that. So, yeah, so my colleague Joanna just put a link to check your flood risk. So I'm not entirely sure about the second part of your question. So if you would like to, at the end of the presentation, I'll put some email addresses. So if you'd like to email one of them, and maybe we can answer your query more specifically, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your comment, Gareth. Is anyone else would like to have a question or a comment about any actions that your community has taken before flooding? Okay, so I will continue with the presentation. I think Joanna is replying what community notice board is. So, okay, moving on to the second and largest section, which is actions to be taken during a flood. This section has 6 tables, with the first one being this one, and it's about identifying local flood actions, meaning once you should take once a flood event starts to occur. This may differ from area to area, and they also depend on the type of flood. Yeah. So a very important table for me is this one, which is 2B. It's about local volunteers and flood wardens. As you can see, this is basically a list of people that should be contacted during an accident, that could be contacted during an accident. They may be required to lift heavy sandbags or help, like physically help and assist other people during a flood event. So there is a potential for them to need to be reasonably active or fit. I have added here a list of do's and don'ts from a community's prepared presentation regarding the role of flood wardens during a flood. So this is it. So first and foremost, to prioritize your own safety. I think that goes without saying. Follow procedures set out in your emergency plan. Pass on information to the local community. Follow instructions from the emergency services. Provide the emergency services with local knowledge and information. Do not cross cordons unless given permission by the police or an incident commander. Avoid walking or driving through floodwater. Do not attempt to operate or repair any flood defenses, structures, or equipment. Collect information about the flood, like photographs, descriptions, first properties flooded, and times, which is actually one of the things that is very helpful to us when we receive the flood reports and later on when we investigate this incidents. Also, flood wardens should have contact details for the EA incident room and county council emergency planning team. Next up is I'm sorry. Next up is we have a list of important telephone numbers, so all the necessary information is readily available during an incident. This can include the flood line, the Environment Agency, district and council, county council numbers, the fire and rescue service, police, the ambulance service, and also the local utility company numbers, which they're also very important. Next, we have a table where you should keep all the available resources per organization. That can include sandbags, high visibility vests and clothes for volunteers, protective clothing for volunteers as well, the Environment Agency's flood kit, or potentially you can keep here information about safe locations and shelters and many other type of available resources that your area community have available during an event. There's also this table that is I'm so sorry about that. There's also a table for available resources per organization. Oh, sorry, wrong line. So we have here a table with details for any specific arrangements between various authorities. For example, in Whittlesea, the Environment Agency has a list of all the vulnerable adults in the area and what sort of medicine they are on. So in case of an extreme event, this vulnerable people can be properly taken care of. Which ties really well with the next slide, which is a list of vulnerable people, properties, and locations where early assistance may be required during a flood. So this was the end of the second section. And so I would like to open this for a brief discussion again and ask you, what actions has your community or local flood action group has taken during a flood? So if anyone would like to answer that. You can raise your hand or type your question. May I ask, Gareth, which community are you from? Would you like me to? Would you like me to unmute you where we can discuss that, or you don't feel like it now? Okay, give me 1 second. There you go. That should probably do it. Hello.
Hello, have you got me now?
Yes, we do.
I share your sore throat symptoms, I'm afraid, so this could be an interesting conversation.
Oh, let's see. So you said you're not aware of any actions that your local, like your community has taken during a flood.
That said, we haven't lived in this village for very long, and I've only been on the parish council for just over a year. So there may well have been lots of very good things that have happened in the past that I'm not aware of.
Okay. Can you think of any actions that your community should take during an event or could take during an event?
Yes, I know something that happened in the Christmas 2000 flood that I mentioned earlier on, and that was bad. It came within a few meters of our property, and we were really quite worried. And the local community, but I think it wasn't the parish council, delivered a whole load of sandbags with the cooperation of the builder's yard that's also in the village. And that proved very helpful. And many of us collected sandbags and deployed them around the place. But I'm not sure that was the parish council, the town council, or the county council or anything. I think that was just the builder's yard volunteering and local people sticking them in the boot of their car and driving them down to the pinch points.
Yeah, I see. Well, yeah, this is, one thing that can happen during a flood. Can you please remind me, I think there is a flood action group covering like the St. Neots area, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure there is, because in a big flood, most of us will be underwater, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you for that, Gareth. I should move on then. So moving on to the third section, which is actions after the flood. And this is actually a list of contractors and companies who can help restore the damaged properties and areas back to how they were, which I think we can all find that it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to quickly skip this discussion, and I'm going to talk a bit about flood resilience and building back better. And then we can open the Q&A session and people can ask and comment on things. So I would like to point out that in the recent years, there has been a movement from both local and central government, but also from insurance companies and independent bodies, such as Flood Re, to increase flood resilience and generally build back better. In this climate, Cambridgeshire County Council, in partnership with the formerly known Oxcom PFR Pathfinder project, is planning a roadshow of events which are designed to help households and businesses located in areas that have previously flooded receive some expert advice on board a special floodmobile, which is an interactive demonstration vehicle that provides examples of more than 50 practical measures of flood resilience. The next event, for anyone who's interested, is in Manchester on Saturday, the 29th of January, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. at Town Hall Car Park. The event is free for and open to residents and business owners, and obviously people from the surrounding area can also attend. We're going to have 2 expert consultants that will be more than happy to talk through and about the wonderful PFR measures on the floodmobile, which is, as you can see, this one. And also we're going to have members from the flood and water team, myself included, to answer any area-specific questions. So now it's time for like a Q&A session. So you can either write the question in the chat or ask that you speak. And I'm going to leave this here. So this is the Community Flood Action Program email, the Flood and Water Team email, and then this is my email if you have any further questions or things you'd like to talk about. So, yeah, up to you. Any questions at all? Okay. Yeah. Go for it. But yeah, we have plenty of time if you'd like to discuss something either related to the presentation or to answer any questions. Okay, I'm going to probably be able to hear you now, Richard.
Yeah. Is there really a dot after flood in the flood and water team? Flood, dot, and water?
Yes. Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, is your hand still up? Do you want to ask something else, Richard, or?
I'm fine, actually. I didn't hand up. Yeah, I think you disconnected me, but I didn't need to say anything more anyway. So
okay, yeah. Sorry, it's a very complicated platform, so and I haven't used that before, so it feels a bit weird. But yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm guessing if there aren't any questions or comments, that means that we have concluded the session quite quickly. And thank you all for attending, and I really hope you found the session useful. Thank you. I'm guessing that's a new hand, Richard, or no?
Yes, I just wanted another question. You know,
Yeah,
you had the previous session. You had the previous session in this afternoon, the first session,
Yes.
Was there any interesting comments or any interesting points that was raised in that session? Because I suppose you had more people there, and maybe there were some interesting points that you can tell and let us know if there was anything that we could learn.
There were a few. There are a few more people. So yeah, about comments. There were some questions about training. If you're interested in that. So I think there was a person that was like a newly appointed clerk in one of the parish councils, and she asked whether there is like training available.
Okay.
And sorry?
Is there any training?
There was training. There is some training available from Communities Prepared, which they did once a year, and we did the winter one, I think, like a couple of months ago, and I think they're going to do another one probably in autumn. But there are quite a few resources online, and there were some questions about riparian ownership, and my colleagues and myself, we're going to release the new riparian guidance or watercourse management guidance soon. We're also going to be making some changes on our website, and we are looking to create a bit of a collaborative space for flood action groups or parish councils who act as flood action groups. So people can learn from like good practices and basically work together. And I think we're looking into introducing case studies as well. So, again, you can have a look at safe practices, good practices and stuff.
And where would you find all this stuff? The Communities Prepared and the case studies.
The Communities Prepared. I think it's on the website and the
Cambridgeshire.gov.uk website.
Oh no, the Communities Prepared website.
Oh right, so you just Google Communities Prepared and they have.
I think so. Yeah, sorry about that. Some of the case studies, they are at the minute at the county council's website. But yeah, we're going to make some changes pretty soon, so it's going to be more straightforward.
So let's say I was to navigate to the county council's website. In terms of flood, is there like a section on flooding or something?
Yes, there is the flood and water section, and I think my colleague Joanna is going to send the email now in the chat.
The
link. I'm sorry.
Okay, she's put a link.
Yeah, so this is for the Communities Prepared. And Joanna, can you please add the flood and water website as well? You can give it some time. I don't know if there you go.
Business planning. Copy.
And there's also, sorry?
I've copied them now, yeah.
Okay, good. There's also going to be like a joint awareness campaign for flood risk and on riparian watercourses. And we're also currently updating our watercourse mapping. So a lot of exciting changes in the next few months.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that answers your question or anything else.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty useful. Great. Thanks. Yeah, that's great.
May I ask which community are you from?
We're a community called Benwick, but it's Benwick. We spell it Benwick, and it's near to Doddington. It's kind of near to March, but not that near. It's on the old River Nene.
Okay. I see. Yeah, it's in
So
Finland,
very,
and
yeah,
yeah.
it's Finland. It's low-lying land. I don't know if it's flooded or if it just doesn't flood because everywhere else around there is low-lying as well. So there's no. But
I
I suppose,
Yeah, I can't answer that in the top of my head.
yeah,
So
I suppose potentially it could, but yeah.
yeah. Joanna is a bit of a Finland geek, so she's probably going to give you all the information now. Yeah, there she goes, exactly as I predicted.
Yeah, I got the idea that the councillors weren't particularly bothered about it, so presumably they haven't had that many problems. So.
Okay, good. So, any more questions or comments by anyone? No? I guess that's a no. So again, thank you all for attending. I hope you found the session useful. And if you have any more questions, here are the emails. And yeah, feel free to email us and we'll do our best to respond to your query.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I